Video number 120, graphing a half ellipse. And that's actually giving up too much information, I think, in the beginning, because we're supposed to really discover that on our own. And the discovery comes from looking at something we already know how to do. Y equals the square root of x. Well, this particular graph, this is actually saying y, or the range values, are or equal to the positive root of x. What does that mean? It means y will be positive. So therefore, if you were to change the way this graph looked, you would do y squared equals x if you square both sides. But it's saying the y values have to be positive. See, we can assume there's a plus sign in front of here, which means instead of this being a full parabola, we're actually only doing this. I've heard this referred to as some kind of an arm of some kind. But yeah, so this is the graph of a square root. So this is important for us to understand. If we would have had, if the graph would have said y equals negative square root of x, then we would have graphed this red part down here. Okay? Hence, you get the total y squared equals x. We didn't start with this. We started with the square root. So we only graphed the positive square roots. This is an important concept for us to understand for later on in the show. It says here, let's change the way the equation looks. So we're going to change this to something we're familiar with, and we're definitely familiar with graphing ellipses in video. I believe it's 118 and 119, so go back and check it out. We got here, we got to get rid of the square root. That's the reason we're doing second power on both sides of the equation. Well, the second power on the right side is going to inverse the square root. So the square root and the squared inverse out. You're left with this on the right side. Over here on the left side, you're going to have a y squared and a 16. Here it is. Alright? Then we're going to rearrange all this action so that we have the ellipse in standard form. And then, of course, a is 5, b is 4. You just square root both of those. C squared equals 25 minus 16 is obviously 9. Square root of 9 is 3. So, we can then go ahead, and if we were to graph this equation, we would go to the left and right 5. Okay? We would go up and down 4. Okay? Now, this would be the correct answer to that equation. However, we must look at the original. So the correct answer is this. Here's the logic. The y values divided in 4 pieces will be positive roots. The y values divided in 4 pieces will be positive roots. We're talking about these answers. So this is the correct answer to this graph, the upper half. So I really should not have graphed underneath here. So just the upper half would be the correct answer. Now, what if the equation said this instead? Let's put this in blue. You ready? What if it would have said an x here? Let's just mess with this a little bit. And it said y here. What if this was the original and we had the same kind of situation? Let's say there was a up and down 4 to the right and left 5. And let's say there was a minus in front. Here, let's throw it all in. Let's go all in. Yeah. This is saying what? The x values divided in 4 pieces are negatives. So where would that be? Wherever the x values are negative, the left side. So as you can see here, if the original had y values and a positive root, you're going to graph the upper half. Okay? If it had y values with a negative, you'd go lower half. If it had x values with a negative, you go left side. X values with a positive, you go right side. So that summarizes the whole thing. So basically what you're going to do each time is you're going to change this to standard form for a full ellipse. Then you're going to go back to the original and decide which way to graph. Alright? So good luck, good times. Talk to you later.